everybody. Welcome to Open Mic with Aly and Michelle. I'm Michelle Pozzie.
And I'm Aly Legge. Happy Friday, fam.
Happy Friday. We made it.
Yes, we made it through that hurricane. My goodness.
My
Still
God.
praying for people because they're in the path of it. And I have friends that are like maybe 30 minutes from me that are completely flooded out. So,
Yeah,
oh
this
boy.
one, big wind event and lots of rain. I was just telling our family was talking before this that not a lot of thunder, lightning, not that kind of thunderstorm.
No.
Very different kind of storm. We'll get into it in a little bit. But first,
You just cannot not dance to this.
you're like, I was in a bad mood. But... Oh my gosh,
So funny.
Aly and I were talking before going on air that it's just a lot of heaviness. There's a lot. Like, can we go back to regular day? Remember what it used to be like before everything was so flippin' heavy every day, and now we got
My
this
goodness.
storm on top of it. But got to find time to dance to Hadass Levy, right?
For sure. I'm like so over it. But
So over it, so
I
done.
wouldn't change what we do for the world though. So it's all good.
Yeah, I get it. Well, as Aly mentioned, guys, Hurricane Helene made landfall as a Category 4 in the area that's it's north of where Aly is. It's the Big Bend area. I know that's a lot of it's not real heavily populated, but it goes inland. And I mean, I saw pictures from Tampa. It's
Oh yeah.
catastrophic the amount of
I have
water this
friends
morning.
like Davis Island is completely under. Maria Island is completely under. It's like my friends. I'm looking through their messages and it's like the water's up to my chest. I don't know what to do. Like it's just craziness.
It's
So
crazy.
yeah, it's pretty bad. So we're praying for everybody. Jacksonville, I believe, lost or Tallahassee lost power before the storm hit, but they lose power when it
Yeah.
just rains up there just because the infrastructure is really horrible. So, I mean, if that's just not a sign that we need to put more money into infrastructure and developing, all of the things that
All of
can
the
go wrong
things.
with this, but
It's true. It's very true. And we,
we pray
Tallahassee,
for everyone.
I'm sure it has a lot of their utilities above ground. We
Yeah.
here down in the southeast of Florida, we put I didn't do it. They have put infrastructure, a lot of the utilities underground, so we don't lose power, Aly, here as much as other areas of our town that are a little bit older. But it's one of those things. I don't know why we're not doing that more in Florida because we're usually one of the last people to lose power. It's got to be a transformer or something that goes out in order for us to lose
Yeah.
power.
Well, there were fires in St. Petersburg, Florida,
Wow.
because power lines went down, and because of the flooding, the firefighters could not get to the fires. So it's just devastating. So just continue to pray for everybody. And the one thing that I will say is that you cannot out Florida man, Florida man. There were several pictures and images of our Florida men running around with MAGA flags and Trump flags and the American flag.
Boat.
And like the waves are just crashing onto the boardwalk. It's great. I love it. I love our state. It's the best state.
It is. It's like but I did notice, Aly, this one gained strength really quickly.
Mm,
Normally, when they're out in the Gulf, we could tell by the temperature of the waters in the Gulf, if this one's going to strengthen. This one was a Category 2, and then it's like it
jump.
intensified.
It was
Yeah,
weird. This storm was pretty weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
very weird.
Mm.
Was weird. Well, so our prayers are with everyone in the path still in Georgia. I know it's not a current hurricane. It's a tropical storm.
The
Winds of
wind is really bad though. So like people in North Carolina, South Carolina really are having wind advisories and tornado advisories. So
yes.
just keep praying for the people that are in the path of this.
Praying for you guys. Absolutely. All right, we got to do a lot more than just pray at this next one. I don't know what's going on here, Aly. We have the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. He has dropped the ball many times. We've always had an issue ever since the Biden-Harris party took office. We've had issues with the supply chain. We've always had these issues.
Mhm.
Now there's a looming strike for our seaport workers. This is predominantly East Coast. Is that right, Aly?
I believe so, and I don't think anybody's talking about this. I actually just found out on X, which is like the most free speech platform. No legacy media is speaking about it. No, our patriot media is really talking about it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, this is concerning. If it goes down or they do this strike and we don't have our seaports, that's a lot of money that we're going to end up losing and a lot of goods. So.
And the pending strike, I guess, is set to happen October 1st. So we are creeping up on this.
Oh yeah,
I'm with you,
it's like a couple days away, guys.
and I'm with you, Allie. I heard about this on X, and I just want to. I know DC Drano shared this. I'm just going to play a little portion of
Outstanding
this.
Reno, another
Yeah,
Floridian.
love it, love it. It's about the Floridian man. I love it.
What happens if our seaports go on strike? The strike is set for October 1st, so you better share this with everyone. Because if our ports close, everything we depend on closes with it. Let's talk about what would happen within the month of October. On day one, international fuel shipments are the first to feel the impact. Crude oil tankers stuck offshore means no new fuel entering refineries. By the end of the day, concerns spread across industries as gas stations, trucking companies, and airlines brace for immediate shortages.
Lord have mercy.
Fuel to imported goods is at risk, but fuel becomes the most critical loss. By day 3, gas stations are starting to run dry and rationing begins. Prices surge as demand skyrockets. Without fuel, trucks can't deliver goods, and the first shortages show up in grocery stores. Businesses relying on imported oil, like refineries, scramble to maintain operations with whatever reserves they have left. The ripple effect starts to hit home. No fuel means no transportation, and without transportation, the flow of goods stops.
The flow of goods stop, and he could go on and on and on, but you get
I
the
mean,
idea.
yeah. This is and so this kind of correlates with the Marcus Allen testimony against the FBI and how he said that he is imploring people to prepare for at least 3 to 4 months of goods and water because you never know what's going to happen. And this is scary. I mean, and then we're just finding this out 3 days before it happens. Like if it happens, this is just a catastrophic failure with the Biden-Harris administration. I mean, is it really a failure or is it done intentionally to cripple
Exactly.
America?
Where is legacy media on this? You mentioned Marcus Allen. He is the FBI whistleblower. I did manage to pull that up, Allie, because this was a great one. I know you shared with me.
Well, and I can kind of understand legacy media not really going into this in depth, only because you don't want to strike fear into people to where they go out and they, do what they did during COVID, where
Buy
it's
all the
the
toilet
massive
paper.
rush to the stores and everybody buys all the things and nobody has anything. But it is worth mentioning in a way where, just keep your eyes open, right? Like make sure that you have enough food, enough water for you and your family for at least a couple days in case something happens. We're not,
Right.
trying to black pill anybody here. We're just giving you the information as we see it.
Right. And I love, of course, he gave a very heartwarming testimony, Marcus. Is it Marcus Allen? Is that
Marcus
okay?
Allen,
Because when I
whistleblower.
say Marcus Allen, I think of the football player. So forgive
Yeah.
me. But he is also saying, this is him closing up his testimony. I'll let you listen to this.
Fearing what Donald Trump would do in the next administration while they sit here and they look at the guy who's been persecuted by the FBI. And everybody in the room understands it. Mr. Allen, do you have comments you wish to make? I'll give you about a minute and a half, and then I want to turn the rest of my time to Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir. I would just say that I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion. I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard.
Right.
My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry.
And that's exactly what you were saying. It's not a jump to panic, but it
Right.
is to
Right.
prepare yourself. And I'll tell you, Allie, even during Hurricane Ian, down here in the southeast or southwest part of Florida, we were hit very hard during Hurricane Ian. But that's what we saw was neighborhoods coming together. Nobody
Right.
was coming to your rescue for 3 or 4 days. A lot of us were waterlogged. You couldn't get to our homes. So whether we're using John boats and this house has a lot of water, this one has the meat, we're all going to grill out, it's that kind of mentality, right?
Well, and I think COVID kind of forced people to isolate themselves away from their neighbors. And then the polarizing political, rhetoric that we're seeing throughout legacy media has also done the same thing. So we really just need to find that American spirit again, where it's, love your neighbor and, be as friendly to your neighbor as you would want them to be as friendly to you, because you never know what somebody is going through, number one. And number two, you never know when a natural disaster or something that will happen that will affect you as a family, you as a person, or your neighbors. And so we just kind of want to be there for each other and just bring back that American spirit.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a good call to action, Allie. And it's something we can do immediately.
Well, and then I love that he talks about, I love that he talks about voting too, and that's your civic duty, right? We always say this in every space that we're in every interview that we do, and all of our TV shows, all of our shows that we do, you and me, Michelle. We're always talking about how important it is to participate in our own governance, especially me. I say it all the time. You have a civic duty to participate in your own governance. And if you don't participate, you can't complain. I mean, you have the right to, but nobody's going to take you seriously if you're not putting your, boots on the ground and getting the work done. So
absolutely,
don't complain. Just go out and do it.
Go out and do it. I want you to know that there are Republican lawmakers that are trying to get the Biden-Harris administration to intervene prior to the strike happening on October 1st. But I'm going to tell you, our U.S. Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, is MIA.
He's another one of the didn't earn it, right? Like, you didn't earn it. And now look at what's going on here. Like, nobody cares that you're gay. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Do the job.
Do the job. Just do the job.
And clearly you can't. So we need to find someone who can. Oh, goodness.
And so going back to what Allie said, reaching out to your representatives, your congressmen and women, letting them know we are concerned about this. We need for you guys to jump on board and continue to pressure.
And listen, it works. It works. These calls to the House and to the Congress, it works. I saw a war room last night with Michelle Winters, I believe her name is, Natalie Winters. She is amazing at conducting these interviews. She's so cute. I love her to death. She's amazing. And she had Mills and Crane on, and they're talking about J13. And they even were talking about the omnibus that might be coming up in December. So passing the CR, the continued resolution, and how they were realizing that when we do calls to action on the grassroots level, it's breaking. People are fighting. Like, it's almost our congressmen are about to throw bows with each other because we're calling them out and we're like disrupting their everyday. Like, in order for you to be politically respected, you have to be politically feared. And in order for you to be politically feared, one, you have to understand proper roles and responsibilities of government. And two, you have to understand how to apply your political pressure at the appropriate pressure points. And that's what we're doing when we do these calls to action. You have a voice, use it. It makes a difference. I promise.
And their aides do keep track. I mean, if you've ever called, or even if you haven't called your representatives ever, they've usually got a local number wherever you're located. They've got a local office, and they've also got a DC office. Call both, email both. They are keeping tallies of who's calling and what they're saying, because they care about what their local constituents want. So,
and you never know who you can persuade or sway, one side or the other, right? But you want to keep it short and always be respectful. Don't
yeah.
sit there and go on for 5-10 minutes talking about things. You want to keep your points very simple. Hey, vote this way for this because of this. Vote this way because of this, because of this. That's how you're supposed to do that. And
And
then
I think
constantly, like, just do it. Make it impossible for them to conduct daily business. I can teach you how.
without
Momsforamerica.us.
momsforamerica.us. This is what Aly does. This is what she does. But it's also important, Aly, too, I think, to reach out when you know they're doing something well. We've talked about a
Absolutely.
few congressmen, especially here in Florida. We've got Eli Crane. We've got
Well, Crane is in Texas.
oh yeah.
But,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. We adopted him. I'm sorry. Did I
Yeah,
not
we
tell
did.
him that?
He's one of ours now.
Darn it. He behaves like a Florida man, but Texas is really close too. So, Corey Mills, we've obviously got Representative Matt
Gates and
Gates. We've got a lot of
Luna.
great ones. Let them know when they're doing something right too.
Doobie. Oh, we love Greg Doobie.
Like the other day, I called Stubby's office and I was like, I'm so glad he's not going to vote for this garbage. But, I needed some help being educated on what was being passed. But let them know when they're doing something right. But you brought up the July 13th security failures. Obviously, that's the first assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump. And there was a task force, a J13th task force that met. Who were the people that testified? Do you remember some of them?
Well, not all of them, because I didn't have a chance to really sit down
Yeah.
and watch it. I was busy working yesterday. Really, I had to get. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes here at Moms for America, so we're trying to get some things done before the election, but I didn't really have a chance to sit and actually watch it. I did scroll through X and I saw Eli Crane was there along with Mills. I do remember seeing something about Democrats having thrown a temper tantrum, essentially, because they didn't know that they were coming to testify, which I thought
they
was
were
pretty
prepared
awesome.
with their talking.
They weren't really prepared for them, right? For them to show up.
Yeah.
Which was really good because they give great testimony. They give their expert opinion on what they found in their own investigation, right? They conducted their own private investigation. So
it was better than some of what was happening already through the other commissions, because these guys have been in this field. They've been snipers. They've worked in this field. I just realized he's from Arizona.
Arizona, Texas. I don't know why I said Texas.
All right, well, Arizona's lucky.
Arizona. Eli Crane. Sorry. We love you, though. You're adopted. You're a Floridian.
Here was a bit of his testimony.
Crane for 5 minutes. Representative, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today as you conduct this very critical hearing. For those of you who don't know, I served in the U.S. Navy from 2001 to 2014. Had the opportunity to deploy to Iraq multiple times with SEAL Team 3. One of my qualifications was as a sniper. We are highly trained in various aspects of military operation, weaponry, technology, tactics, and all sorts of mission sets to include executive protection. With that background, it's evident to me that many basic security measures were completely dropped. That being said, you do not have to have a background in special operations to recognize the incompetence and security failures that led to the catastrophic vulnerabilities surrounding President Trump and the crowd that day. I hear from Americans every day in complete disbelief in the wake of 2 assassination attempts in 2.5 months that cannot believe how ineffective our Secret Service has become. There's simply no excuse. I'm glad I can testify today to share some insight into the operational failures of that fateful day.
He goes on to talk, Aly, about, there was an office that they were using in that industrial area that the Secret Service was in. And it had a second story window. And if they would have had somebody up there, it literally overlooks the roof where the assassin was located, talking about I can't say this without laughing. The sloped roofs. Okay, so
oh my goodness.
The former director Cheadle, she said, obviously we didn't put Secret Service men and women up there because the roof was so sloped. He says no, actually the roof that was perpendicular to it, where we did have Secret Service men and women, that roof was twice the slope of the one that the shooter was on. He also talks
Wow.
about a water tower. And if you're watching the July 13th rally, you can see that huge water tower behind Trump. He said that is him and Eli and Representative Mills both said that that is the highest point.
Yes.
Anybody who's had any sniper training knows that's where you put somebody.
They should have had someone there. They absolutely should have. And then they didn't even show. I mean, you guys have heard this. They didn't even show up to the morning briefing, where you go through all of the things and what's going to happen throughout the rest of the day. And it's wild. It really does point to the fact that it can't be incompetence. It has to be deliberate. It has to be deliberate. And now there's more, right? We have more information, not more information about J13, but there's more, security concerns about Trump and Vance, especially when Vance is, did you hear about this? How JD Vance and his family were doxxed their address was doxxed, like all the things, the dogs' names, like their children, like it was wild. It was absolutely wild.
Okay, so as somebody who was doxxed during my race, okay, I know there's some things that are public knowledge, but when you put out private information for somebody that is vice president, that's
running,
vice president candidate, that is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is what Ally's alluding to, is that there's even more concern. So we've had the guy that tried to shoot him at the golf course, which now he is going to be tried and charged with attempted assassination. But we just found, 9 surface to air missiles made its way across our southern border through New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico. See, I was going to get the state
Are
wrong
we
again.
in the Middle East? I'm just concerned.
I don't know. That's what it feels like. What is happening?
I just can't.
My
and
God.
Thank God even Trump posted about it. Big threats on his life. We know because we did play the clip earlier this week from Representative Matt Gaetz, who said, just a citizen came in to tell him, look, there's 5. Did he say there's 5 assassination teams?
Yes. 5 teams.
That plus you've got obviously cartel help, because I don't know who else has the manpower and the bandwidth to do this, to bring 9 surface to air missiles across the border in New Mexico from Mexico, obviously with the intention of taking down Air Force One.
Trump Force One.
Trump Force One. Sorry. Thank you. He's not yet the president. Gosh, that just makes me so sad that he's not.
I know.
Members of Congress allegedly, obviously this is from different sources here on social media, but it hasn't been, Trump reposted this. So members of Congress have been captured standing next to members of the cartel taking pictures.
What?
At the southern border. So we'll see if that, if we hear more about that.
True. I mean, so keep your eyes out. We're not necessarily sure if that's
Not
accurate, but
that's true. Yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah. Trump says the entire military is watching and waiting. Moves have already been made. He says an attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. So I love his strength in coming out and saying that. But
I'm so glad that he has the fortitude, right, and the love and reverence for our nation. There is nobody quite like him. I mean, we do have a few that are currently sitting in Congress that are that way, but he is embodying that spirit, that American spirit, and he's igniting that in Americans too. And I think that's why they want to take him out. The globalists want to take over, especially when you see Kamala Harris and Joe Biden sitting with Vladimir, or whatever his name is, Zelensky. I can't.
Zelensky. Oh my gosh.
I can't. He's a grifter, and every single time he comes here, he gets billions of dollars, while the American people crumble under the weight of deliberate incompetent leadership here in America.
And what did he do before he was the leader of Ukraine? Let me see. He danced in high heels. Okay.
Wasn't he an actor? Like
apparently that's the only qualification.
Didn't earn it. Again, didn't earn it.
Didn't earn it.
Everybody dies.
Yeah,
because of the people that don't know what the heck they're doing sitting in leadership positions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Aly, we like to leave our viewers on a little bit of a pleasant note because we do deliver a lot of heavy topics.
Yeah,
there's a couple movies we want you to get out and see with your family. Obviously, one is
Vindicating Trump.
Vindicating Trump. This is Dinesh D'Souza, which, if you know, he did the 2,000 Mules going after basically the election fraud that took place.
Again, another failure of the GOP. They've had 3 years to fix this. And they've sat on their hands.
But this would be a great thing, I think, to go see with your family. I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer here.
Somebody has to help this country, and if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble.
Someone's got to overturn the tables in the temple.
Trump jumping into the presidential race.
She's a bit worried.
Of the Apprentice guy?
You know the feeling of power. Could you handle it or would it devour? Power.
They fear that power. You didn't do an insurrection. Had you called for one, there would have been one. And there would be one if you called for one now.
I'm not sure I want that power. I want the power just to make the country better.
America first!
And that scares them.
A lot about Donald Trump scares them.
Let's look at everything. Campaign, his family. Let's get foreign eyes on him. We have one target. You know who he is.
Going after their companies, their families. That is a dictator.
It's a very dangerous time for our country.
The goal is to put him in jail because they're so afraid of his voice.
I am your voice.
We'll bury him so deep in legal, it'll bankrupt him.
Broke Donald in jail right before the election. That's
Sorry for being that guy, but isn't that election interference?
It's not interference if we do it.
We just want a free and fair election.
Sounds expensive.
Ballots ain't cheap.
Wait. Did you actually say the word buy the ballots?
We were able to purchase 10,000 ballots.
That's terrifying.
They cheat in many different ways. That's all they're good at.
ready to save democracy.
We need to stop him permanently.
And that person will be risking his life.
Too bad it's not the 60s, right?
It's the way you survived.
And I said, get me up.
Trump has beaten back every attack against him.
It's like the damn Terminator.
We're going to fix our borders and we're going to fix our elections. We're going to win.
This is my legacy.
Vindicating
Oh my goodness! I can't wait to go see this.
I want to go see this. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, this got me so excited. I'm just like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm fired up.
Let's go get our red hats.
Oh, do you have the impersonator telling everybody to go see it?
I don't. Oh my gosh, we should have had that
Guys,
queued up.
you need to follow Sean Farash on X. He is the best Trump impersonator that I know on the planet, in America. It's great. And he supports this film. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and he's fun. We'll have to show him on Monday. I remember we were talking about that. He's hilarious. He's got the Trump sound perfect.
Yes. It's so good. We're going to have him on one day, and I think it'll be so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. We've laughing the whole time.
Guys, so go see that movie. Go see it. And then once you're done, make sure you're registered to vote and go vote.
That's right. There's another movie that's still playing in theaters this weekend, right? It's the God's Not Dead.
God's Not Dead.
I think, is this the 5th installment, right?
Yes, it is, of God's Not Dead.
Yeah, God's Not Dead.
In God We Trust. And it's about a pastor who, I mean, the parallels are insane. And this script was written like 5 years ago.
Right.
Wow. The parallels are just wild to today's times and what we're experiencing here in America. So go see both of those right now. Go do it.
That's right. And then did we mention vote? Make sure that you vote. Make sure you get your ballot. I don't like mail-in ballots at all, but guys, make sure you get your ballot because you never know when something comes up. You're sick, you don't feel good, and go, vote early if you have to.
Or track it. All right. Take it with you. So
take it with you.
In case. You never know. Like, seriously, go vote.
Okay.
And make phone calls for Trump. Visit Trump47.com. Look at his policies and become a Trump captain.
That's it for Aly and I, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.